Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. This time I wanna make a little unboxing, and while I'm surrounded of teletype riders parts, since I've just received this thing that is inside that I'm going to show you right now. As you can see, here we have just a piece of paper about teletypes that I've used just to hide some personal information. Well, let's see if I can slide it out from the side. It's well packed actually. Okay, so we have a box in a box. So what this box should contain is a very cheap oscilloscope that I have just purchased for just for fun. I paid about 20 euro shipped, so it's a really cheap one. The oscilloscope is a tele-equipment. The model is D1011. It's not really high performance oscilloscope, but should be fun to work with. So let me remove everything else. Okay, so what we see here is the bottom side with the power selection. Very neat cord retainer. We have a lifter, just to have line it on the bench. And here we have the oscilloscope itself. Okay, here we have also an handle. Very strange and unusual setup, but really handy. So all in all, it's not in bad shape. It's a bit dirty. There is a scratch up on here onto the top lid. It has been sold as non-functional. However, it has been showed with some trace onto the screen, so I will not go through the slow power up. I will just plug in and see what it does. Okay, here you have a power cord. I'm going to let me check before power switch. Okay, it is off. Plug it in. Nothing happened so far. Let me center a bit more, better. So, let's see. Okay, we have the LED that is lighting up. No magic smoke for the moment, which is a good sign. Intensity, okay, I have both traces. Let's see, this is one channel, this is the other channel. Well, I don't understand why they have sold the time base. Seems to work. So I really don't understand why they have sold as non-functional. Okay. All the controls seems to work. Trigger. Well, this should stop the trace should disappear. However, DC, GND. Okay, let me grab some probes and see which kind of signal we can see on the screen. Okay, so the probe connection is on the side. This is one of the reasons why I've chosen to this equipment, since it should be useful to have on the bench, and having the front panel free. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing any calibration facilities. Let me turn on the other side. Okay, it's over there. So, probe is by 1. Let's see on channel 1. Okay, we don't have nothing. Let's, okay, it's on G and D, clearly. Okay. Okay, it doesn't change, time base doesn't change onto the square wave. But this, it happened me in other equipment that they did the same because of the internal connections. So perhaps we need to connect to an external source. So let me connect to a signal generator. Okay, I've applied 50 millivolt square wave 1 megahertz, and it seems that the problem lies in the trigger. So we don't have any trigger locking, so none of the command is working. So we have a trigger problem, but for the rest of the things seems to work fine. So let me grab the manual schematic and give it a quick clean and see if we can fix the problem. Okay, trying to move the controls. Seems that the only thing that affects a bit is the variable horizontal control, but that is really weird. Another very neat feature of this that is pulling like that, we have XY mode. So it's very useful if we want to make some Lissajous curves. However, the trigger level is doing anything. Okay. So it seems that now we have some effect on normal disappear on TV. Yeah, should be investigated. I will open it up and grab the schematic and see if we can have a clue about the problem. Well, it seems that for the removal should be just required to remove those 4 long screws, and the cover should slide out. Okay, we have plastic pieces that just fell out. Okay, here we have some movement. Let's see on the other side. I don't know how much is that this thing is not opened up. Okay, so let me grab the small plastic bit that comes out from here. Yeah, this thing is a bit of hard life. So let's see. Here we should have the horizontal and trigger section. So let me remove also the bottom cover. The removal of bottom cover seems that requires also the removal of those screws. Let's see. Yes, we can lose. Let's remove also those. Oh, and by the way, the plug is unplugged. This is very dangerous equipment despite it's not, it doesn't seem like that, but there are 1,000 volts inside this thing that can be very, very, very dangerous. So we are in. Let's put this thing down. I also want to remove this shield right now. Let's see if this gives us some view of the PCB right here. Okay, we have some movement. I don't know if we need also to remove something from the front here. Well, we actually have a bolt here which must be removed. Seems something like this, too big. Well, it seems that is metric. 7mm is just perfect. Okay, so let's see if we can now move it out. Not easy with the camera in the way. Let's see if we have another one down there. And yes, we have. Okay, so yeah, actually it was not necessary to remove the front controls, not at all. Very, very smart way. However, there is some oily wetness here. Seems that or somebody has tried to spray some deoxide or something, as some kind of liquid has spilled in. So I'm seeing some wiring here that is preventing me to fold this on a side. So I want to see if I can remove that. Well, while I am looking at bird, I have also here some sort of gluing compound or some greasy liquid. Not really sure. So I think I need to remove this to inspect. I need to remove the shield to inspect the bird. I have removed some of the wiring attached right there, including this. Here we have a toroidal transformer. However, it seems that the trigger section, which by the way we will see onto the manual, well, it seems that this is the control. Here we have a slope switch, which seems to be a slope switch since we have a plus and minus indication. So there is a sort of flux residues along each single hole here. Also, those sockets I think are a bit flaky. However, it seems that to remove the entire shield, I need to go through and remove the BNC down there, here and there. So I need to make some desoldering work before to remove the shield itself. Well, the removal of the shield actually has just required the removal of this ground bolt, so it's now free to come out. And yes, we also have here the wet residues that seems to has been spilled in for some reason. I don't believe it's something about related to contact cleaning. So let me inspect the solder joints and see if I can find something wrong. Well, we have an incredible amount of rework points everywhere. We have not sure that you will be able to see on camera, but there are a lot of reworking evidences, and not sure if it's just reflown or attempt to repair. It seems that it has been spreaded out the solder iron just to try to reflow the solder joints, especially the bigger one. So let me flip it over. I want to remove the ICs from the sockets because I'm pretty sure that those kind of sockets are a bit flaky. Okay, I have reassembled everything relevant to the front panel and this knob. I've cleaned it with contact cleaner, all the controls, potentiometers and so forth. Nothing has changed, and we still have no trigger. So I took the service manual. It's a bit different. We have channel 1 and channel 2 and external instead of channel 2 external and line. However, it seems that we should have here 220 millivolt peak-to-peak signal coming from the vertical preamplifier, but we don't. I'm just having, well, actually yes, it's exactly 250. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let's see the other side. Other side as well. So actually this is correct. So I've just switched it onto the AC couplet. Since it's we have a DC coming in, so we need to do like that, so in AC coupling mode. By the way, so it seems that we need to go over the components here. The manual says that to properly align, it's required 60 millivolt, which by the way I should have right now, 60 millivolt peak to peak. So let me go through and see if we can find where we are losing our signal. We should have our signal coming to this base through this 22 microfarad capacitor, which by the way might be dried out. Okay, let me see if I can track this signal. Well, it seems that we have IC2. I was just looking at the components. IC2 is right that, and it seems that it's pretty much oxidized, so I want to remove it and check for maybe dirty contact on the legs. The IC is a CD4069 and it's quite tarnished on the leg, so hopefully I can clean it up, as well as the socket that might also be oxidized. Must be inspected more carefully. Well, I have cleaned all the legs carefully, but doesn't fix the problem, so need to be trace it down the signal and see where we are losing it. Well, I think I have found something. Here I am at the incoming signal, let's say the one at where it's numbered 245/17, and I'm having the 220 millivolts. So this one should go directly to C7, which is not this one, but the bottom one. And I'm not having any signal at the capacitor. Same thing on the other leg over here. So it seems that we have a problem in the trigger switch. I have moved it up and down. Nothing has changed here. So let me grab this. Okay, let's see if we can have a. Okay, so I will switch this, and yeah, it's changing something, but it seems that it's not able to pass the signal through. And by the way, we should have on this side of the capacitor we should have the same signal that we are having here. So there is something wrong. And by the way, the signal never go down, so there is no leakage here that make the signal dropping down. So there is a problem in the switch. I have removed the small panel here again, so I'm going to remove this small screw with the relevant nut and washer, which by the way is required 4mm spanner or wrench or whatever you want to call it. So second one, very tight for a small bolt like that. Okay, it's coming out. Okay, look at that. We have a contact that is laying around, and seems that this is completely bent. Look at that. Wow, we have a mechanical problem here to be fixed. So let me slide this in a bit, and yeah, we have a nasty problem here. However, I think in some way we can try to straighten them up and see if we can bring it back operative. However, since I don't have any clue about the contact, it seems that this oily things has damaged the plastic, or on the other hand, maybe that they have sprayed something in the hope to fix the mechanical problem that without the complete dismantling was impossible to be seen. So let me try to straighten them up and see if we can bring it back to life. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. I have already straightened up the contact as best as I could. There are some broken fins here that I had to tin with some soldering. So I have drilled out holes where there was the posts to be melted in order to fix to properly hold the contacts. And I have machined these small mushroomed pins. So I want to see if I can save this switch like that. And it seems that here has worked. So hopefully we will see back in the instrument that is working. This is the switch reassembled. I have applied a few drops of glue before press fit the pins. And it seems that the strength is good enough. I have also tried to give the same height all those three. So I will put back in the instrument and see if we now have some triggering action. The switch is back in place. It seems to work just fine. It just need to be reassembled to have the entire stroke. So let's power it up and pay attention to that anything will be touched. Let me switch on the signal generator with the required settings. So let's see. Okay, yeah, it seems that now it works. Yes, it's responding, and also in auto mode. Normal, sorry, auto, normal, TV. Yeah, but it's well stable and well triggered. So it's fixed. At this point, I will reassemble all the shields and start the calibration of the horizontal and vertical. So see how it will end up. Taking advance of the warming up time for the calibration, I have removed the CRT bezel and screen, give a good cleaning and polish. The UV protection, I will go ahead with the vertical section cleaning, reassembly all the knobs which are already cleaned up, and start the calibration. Well, I'm in the process of calibration, and I'm applying with the Y divider signal on both channels, and this is what I'm having. There is a very big difference, and sorry for the glare, for the reflection. There is a big difference between the two channels, but moreover there is a very low gain. I'm feeding 250 millivolt peak to peak, monitored with the other scope, and we should have 5 division and I'm having only 3. So don't know if there is a problem or if it is just a matter of calibration. So let's see. Well, while I'm continuing the calibration, I found another problem that is still related to the switch that I have repaired. And it seems that this spring, let me take a pointer. This spring, which is actually the indexer for the position of the switch itself, I was supposing that was mounted around this pin over there. Since when I had opened it, everything fell down. Actually, it seems that the right position is there. Indeed, it's not giving the right position to the contact with the external trigger position. So now, if I mount back in the position and I hold by hand, I now have signal to the base of the transistor that is inside there. Not easy to see. There is a transistor over there. So let's see if this will fix the triggering problem. Since the calibration of channel 1 does not include the channel 2 signal, since this triggering has been designed to work just with channel 2 or external, so it's requested to feed an external signal in order to calibrate channel 1. Okay, I'm now feeding on channel 1 square wave, and clearly we don't have any trigger action. Let's see if all right, yes. Let me remove it. Okay, it's back operative. By the way, the level, the signal level required to trigger is not less than 300 millivolt. This is a test result. I have reduced the source signal source level down to 150 millivolt, and it does not trigger anymore. Well, I have just finished the calibration. I have reassembled the whole instrument. It's working as expected. Clearly this is not an high performance oscilloscope. I think it has a bandwidth of 10 megahertz, but I have already seen that over 3 megahertz the vertical is shrinking down the gain. So let's say it's good enough up to 1 megahertz. So it's a good instrument for make some audio troubleshooting or low speed digital signal monitoring. By the way, the neat feature of this oscilloscope is that it's without any fan, so it's very silent, and in case I will need to make some troubleshooting in a very silent environment, because sometimes you need to hear at what you are working on, this will be a good candidate. So I hope you have enjoyed this trip, and I'll be back soon.